Hey, what's up? It's Soncerae here. I haven't done a live stream in so long. I'm live streaming right now on YouTube and two of my Facebook pages. I do not live stream anymore because I have so many things going on. I've been trying to post more content, post in little chunks because, of course, I started doing TikTok. So I've been posting like advice there and my quotes and stuff there, as well as Instagram. Finally, I hit 10,000 not subscribers, followers on Instagram. Finally, like that shit took such a long time for no reason whatsoever. I don't know why. I think because I never really took like Instagram real serious until like 2 or 3 months ago. And I started taking it serious to where I started being more professional with what I post and, start really just doing this life coaching thing and giving relationship advice seriously like I used to when I first started my YouTube channel. Anybody who is new to my YouTube channels or my social media platform in general, or my just presence in general, I was giving men relationship advice on YouTube for many, many years before I started venturing off giving women relationship advice as well as giving the advice on multiple platforms. Of course, people who follow me on Facebook, right? They've seen me talk about relationships as far back as they can remember. Like I've had my Facebook page since college. You know what I mean? Most of the people on my Facebook, they know me from college. They met me in real life. But most of my followers on YouTube or on TikTok, those are all new people. And so they really kind of are just being introduced to a new me. And hey everybody that's in the chat. Um as I've been taking my life coaching stuff more serious, I've been seeing a lot of other coaches, right? So, because it's a social circle. So once you become a coach, a certified life coach, then you start seeing other certified life coaches, and then you start seeing people who just give relationship advice. They don't necessarily have a license. Then you meet a whole bunch of therapists and doctors and all of this stuff, right? So what I'm seeing a lot of is a lot of women who claim to be connoisseurs of femininity. Right now, of course, we've heard about the Kevin Samuels. He's giving relationship advice, and he used to give relationship advice to men on YouTube first before he started giving it to women. And then you got men like Mr. Let Go. You got Chaz Ellis. You have what's the oneself quote oneself. He does it. It's just a whole bunch of other ones like Derek Jackson. Of course, we know about Derek Jackson. I don't even know if Derek Jackson still gives relationship advice, or he might still give it, but are women really taking him seriously at this point? I don't know. I just decided to stop even paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just too much negativity as far as the conversation of Derek Jackson was going, and too much of a negativity as far as the Kevin Samuels shit be going. So I've been trying not to focus on Kevin Samuels too much because I just got tired of talking about dude. But what I've been seeing a lot of females do who give relationship advice, they're not necessarily giving relationship advice. They're more so trying to teach women how to be more feminine. And I'm assuming black women how to be more feminine because there's this I don't know if it's an accurate statement, but supposedly black women don't know how to be feminine, right? But here's my thing. Here's what I think as far as femininity goes, and this is can be subjective or objective. All right, it depends. Okay, just by perspective. So here's what I think about femininity as far as black women. There are a lot of women out there who depict themselves as masculine women because they are environments. They're in toxic environments where they have to display themselves in such a manner to be able to protect themselves because they, are in an environment where they're not being protected by other men. And most of the men are abusive in that type of environment. So whether it's just her boyfriend or her brother or her father, or she's a single mother and she's living in a low income neighborhood where the men are, like who she has to protect herself from, at some point she becomes toxic, right? She becomes a reflection of her surroundings, right? But then there are women out there who are perceived as masculine when they're not, simply off of their success, their career, how much money they make, and things of that nature. So being as though I'm in another social circle, right? Of life coaches, psychologists, therapists, people who have a level of success themselves, especially women. I'm around a lot of female business owners because I'm a business owner myself. I'm around another female entrepreneurs because I am an entrepreneur myself. I'm around another set of women who make six figures. I'm around a whole bunch of affluent women. So I'm seeing a lot of women who are successful, who have their own money, who have things going for them, and they're still feminine. But for some reason, women who are independent, who are successful, who have their own money, according to a lot of the women that are teaching femininity, they believe that men see this as an unattractive trait. And so I decided to I saw this post on Instagram from the femininity doctor. Okay, I saw it. And so I put it on my community tab on my YouTube. It is also on my Facebook page right now. And I also put it up on my Instagram. And inside of it, she says, let me read it. Inside of it, she is saying, hold on, let me read it because I'm like, she said, it doesn't matter how much money you make or how successful you become, a man is inherently attracted to your femininity. So stop giving it up for everything else. It's your weapon. Your femininity is your superpower. Now, I agree. Femininity is your superpower. Femininity is strong. Okay. Femininity is it's amazing. But this quote to me made it seem like having success and having money isn't part of your femininity, when to me, it is in fact a part of feminine excellence. So when I seen the femininity doctor post this, I responded, and it's still up there on her Instagram. Her Instagram is at femininity doc. So it's at femininity doc. And I replied, like, I'd run from a man who doesn't care about my goals if I'm financially literate or not in my career. No need in dimming my feminine excellence just to get a man. I want a man who has standards and boundaries and one that cares. I wouldn't settle for less than a best friend who cheers me on, right? Because here's the problem with me. I feel like a lot of women are scared to be successful because they feel like their success will be a negative thing. And that's sad to me because part of me, like, I'm a woman, right? I'm feminine. I'm a woman. I used to be a tomboy. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. What was the last thing you heard me say? So I could go back from where I started. What's the last thing you heard me say? Because I was talking about, um, yeah, what was the last thing you heard me say? Because I was talking about how women believe that the definition of femininity is basically a definition of a whim, like it came from a man. The definition of femininity is a man's definition or a patriarchal definition. Okay. And did you guys hear me reading the feminine doctor's Instagram quote? Did you hear that? My bad if you didn't hear that. But I I feel like women should define our own femininity. A man's definition of what femininity is usually has something to do with domestication. Has something to do with, can we cook? Can we clean? Are we beautiful? Those are, it's weird to me because that's the bare minimum of what women have to offer. Why does it always feel like we as women, what we define femininity as isn't enough for men? And there's so many women out there who are going to be afraid of being successful because they feel like once they get successful, they can't have a man. Then it's like this negative stereotype on top of independent women who are wealthy and successful, as if we aren't feminine or we want to have leadership all of the time. That's the last thing I want. Like, if okay, I can pay my own bills. I have my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm running shit all day, right? 24/7. Everything that I'm doing, I'm always in control. I'm the boss, right? The last thing I want to do is do that inside of my relationship. I mean, like, I don't want to bring my entrepreneurial spirit into my relationship with my man when we sit here cuddling, watching TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be all masculine and rough and, because one thing that I learned about business is you can't be polite. And that's one of the things that was really hard for me to accept, because I used to tell my mother all the time, the one thing I can't stand about handling business all the time is I have to consistently, like, stand my ground all of the time, because for some reason when I'm dealing with men, they either trying to do something personal or they trying to get over on me or something crazy like that. So I have to put my foot down. And sometimes me putting my foot down has rubbed men off so wrong that we get into a back and forth. Because with business, and anybody can tell you this, even Beyonce said this, and I love using Beyonce as an example because she's a great businesswoman, she's a great wife, and she's a great mother. And to be all three is hard. Okay. And this woman has mastered just so much. So I use her as an example. And she was doing an interview once where she was talking about how being polite, you can't mix business with being polite. You just can't do it. And she was talking about how her father used to handle her business all the time and she couldn't understand why her father was so mean at first. But now she gets it, now that she's had to deal with it herself. The person I have to be when I'm handling business is a very different person than who I am when I'm with my man. Just like I'm a very different person when I'm dealing with my children. So you guys said you didn't hear the quote where I read this quote off of um, the femininity doctor, where she was basically talking about femininity is a superpower, but she was also saying that a woman's success and a woman's money is basically not feminine to men, and men are not attracted to that, and that a woman's career and her money shouldn't be a selling point for men. And I was like, well, to me, right? What good would it do for me to date somebody that doesn't feel comfortable with the business side of me? If anything, he should be impressed or cheering me on. Like, if he's not impressed or cheering me on because he doesn't find that attractive, I don't want to date him. I'm not going to turn down my success or, all of the things that I'm so proud of, my goals, my ambition, just so I can have a man. And I feel like all of the femininity connoisseurs who are teaching women femininity, they're teaching women to dumb themselves down or dim their light in order to appease a whole bunch of men that aren't impressed by a woman's success or a woman's financial literacy. To me, financial literacy is something that all human beings should know, regardless to what gender you are. I think people should start teaching their children financial literacy the second their children can talk. Okay, because currency and economics is, it can make or break your life. Okay, like seriously, you need to teach people that first before anything. Like, communicate, know how to communicate with other human beings, and know how to get your bread. Okay, because that's your livelihood. That's how you're gonna survive. So it has nothing to do with gender. Like, for instance, cooking and cleaning shouldn't be a feminine role. That's not something that should be feminine. That's a basic necessity. That's a basic essential for living. Why would a person who's feminine be the only person that knows how to do that? Men should know how to cook. Men should know how to clean. Men should know how to wash their own damn clothes, because these are things that if they didn't have a woman, they should be doing by themselves. This shouldn't be something that, only their girlfriend would do. Like, it seems to me that in the minds of men, femininity is a woman who has now become their mother. You feel me? Like, now I'm your mother, and that's it. How I'm attracted to you has to do with whether you can cook or clean or not. That's femininity. Whether you are beautiful or not. That's it. As a man, you should require more from women than that. If all you're requiring from a woman is how she looks, how good she is in bed, you're really going to be messed up at the end of the day, because you're going to end up with these women, all right, that either you're going to resent because you have to babysit them because they don't have any money of their own. They can't even go out there and get their own hair, nails done. They can't do anything. They can't groom themselves. They can't even pay for their own damn feminine products or gym membership or nothing. You got to kick out all of that together, all that on your own, right? She's not helping you. But there are a lot of men out there who feel like, oh, I'm a provider. I take pride in the fact that I have to provide. And I'm thinking, no, see, patriarchy basically puts you, it's almost like Stockholm syndrome. You've been programmed to believe that this type of misandry is okay. But just like it's a woman to get mad if a man says that all women are good for is cooking and cleaning, it's the same if you say all men are good for is providing. It's a gender role. So if you say to women, all femininity is a woman cooking and cleaning, that's misogyny, right? That's sexism. It's the same thing when it comes to men. If you're saying that all men are good for is money and that's it, it's a gender role. It's misandry. And so when I say this and I tell people this is what patriarchy has taught you, to where it's oppressing men and women, people are like, what? I don't understand. I don't think that that's right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you have to think about it. Like, think about what you were taught. You were taught that men were supposed to provide. Now, here's my thing about the 50-50 partnership. And I just made a video about this recently, about how everything is 50-50 here in Northern California. And people were like, well, in Northern California, everything is so expensive, so people have to partner up. And I keep saying, well, if you're in tech or you have a business, these people do not have to partner up. They're partnering up because that's what's required of their relationship. Like, they don't have to do it. They just love to do it. But there are people who do live in the Northern California area that it's so expensive you have to partner up where you don't have a choice. You understand? Stephen, depends on who you deal with. I don't know what the context behind that. Superb Beats. Men see it the same way with women they have to take care of. They feel more like their fathers than their men. Exactly. Like I keep telling women, these men are not your father. These men that you're dating, they're not supposed to be sitting here trying to fill a void that your father created. I tell women all of the time, men are maintainers. Men are not providers. Men are maintainers. Men are supposed to be there to help you maintain a lifestyle that you have already created for yourself. They're not supposed to be handing it to you. And I made a video recently where I was talking about how a lot of these femininity connoisseurs, these teachers who teach that hypergamy is also a part of femininity, You're teaching women to go after affluent men, and that's not even the biggest part of the population. The biggest part of the population are men who make under $100,000. Okay, the average working class man is not affluent. You understand? He's not going to be able to fly you out every month, or get your hair and nails done all of the time, or give you cash for you to go shopping and buy expensive handbags and buy red bottoms all of the time. So if you have all of these women, if you're coaching all of these women to date up, right, and these women are broke themselves, so you're telling women to date up, date hypergamy, believe in hypergamy. All right, you're teaching them to do that, so that leaves every man who is wealthy. You're giving them access to hundreds of thousands of beautiful women, meaning unlimited access to hundreds of thousands of beautiful women because they have money. Now, they have financial literacy. It doesn't mean they have a good character, right? You're giving them access to all of these women. And this is why they're having two and three baby mamas. They got a whole wife that don't know nothing about what's going on. They got side chicks. They got all of these women because all of these women are so pressed to be with these men because these men are tossing out cash. Meanwhile, you have all of these single men who are good, right? They're not affluent. They're just regular working class men, right? They're good men. They actually have to save up to take you on a trip. They have to save up to buy you a car. They have to save up to give you money to get your hair done. And you're ignoring this dude altogether because he doesn't make $100,000 a year. It's putting women in a worse situation to teach them that hypergamy is a part of femininity. When femininity is powerful, you can't say that hypergamy is part of femininity and then turn around and tell women that femininity is limited to them expecting a man to provide for them. Women should go out there and create opportunities for themselves to be able to have a man in their presence because they desired him there, not because they need him there for room and board or when they feel like flying out. Blah, 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 blah. I have my own money, but if my man wants to pay my nails and hair, whatever I want, I'm truly going to receive it. That's fine, Mia. I hear you. I'm not saying don't accept gifts for your man. I'm not saying go out here and date a broke ass Dusty who's going to use you for everything you got. I'm saying at least go out there and get your own money, right? That should be any person who is teaching femininity or teaching women to do something. The first thing that we should be teaching these women is please make sure you go out there and get your career and get your money. But then at the same time, you got femininity connoisseurs and men who give relationship advice telling women that men do not care about a woman's career or a woman's education. That is terrible. Like, if you are a man and you don't care whether your woman has financial literacy or a little bit of intelligence or something going for herself, you have low standards. You have no standards whatsoever. Like, you should have standards and boundaries for yourself. You should require more from women than her looking good and being able to bone you. You know what I'm saying? It's like weird. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. And it's men out there that's taking pride in that. Like, I don't want my woman to do nothing. I just want to pay her all of her bills and stuff. And it's like that sound nice in theory, but the reason why there's so many modern women out there who have become business owners and who have become multimillionaires and entrepreneurs lately, especially Black women, is because we were raised by women who were wives, who were being provided for. All right. And at some point, a lot of these women who allow their man to provide while these women just stayed home with their children, they saw the strain in the relationships. They saw that these men were having difficult times connecting with their children because they were barely around their children. They were too busy working to provide for a family because they weren't getting any type of financial help. A two income household is a balanced household. And when we talk about 50-50 partnership, we're not just talking about 50-50 with finances. Like, when I tell people relationships are a partnership, it's not supposed to be one person paying for everything and one person just taking care of the kids. A 50-50 partnership is a man is also supposed to come home from work and sometimes cook, sometimes clean, also be a parent. And what's happening is these men who are walking around here, providers, and the women that are dating them or marrying them because they're looking for a relationship that has something to do with hypergamy, a lot of these men aren't being good fathers to their children. And I hear a lot of married women complaining about feeling like a single mother in their marriage because men are not at home. They're out working, getting the money. Now, this is a traditional way of doing things, right? This is what men used to do back in the day. They used to have to pay for a woman's entire lifestyle because women, we couldn't do shit. We couldn't tie our shoes, we couldn't vote, we couldn't go to school, we couldn't go to work, we couldn't do nothing because we didn't have any rights, right? So, of course, men were supposed to go out and do all of this stuff. Now we have rights. Women, we have rights, we have opportunities. We have evolved. We get to do more than what we used to. So when you try to stick to traditional ways of doing things, right, to these modern relationships, it's not going to work out. It's like trying to get on Instagram through a rotary phone. You cannot live in this modern day and age trying to apply traditional ways of living because we have outgrown it. It's like wearing a small shirt or putting on a shirt that you put in the dryer and it's too tight now you can barely breathe in that shit. It's a fat guy in a little coat. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, you can't do traditional stuff anymore because we have outgrown it as a people. That's all. A lot of women still have mentality of women in the 70s and 80s where there was an era women could work or provide for themselves, but now y'all have all the power to do for yourselves now. Exactly. We have the power now. So instead of teaching more women to limit their femininity out of laziness or they feeling like resting in my femininity means I shouldn't have to work, that's bullshit. There's too many women out there that work so hard to get women, to have opportunities to be wealthy and have their careers without having to lay up under a man. Too many women fought for that. So for a whole bunch of women to be sitting here like, oh, when I'm resting in my femininity, and it's natural instinct for men to provide. No, the natural inclination of a human being is preservation of life, sociability, right? Being able to connect with other human beings, right? And procreation. Okay? Life preservation and seeking knowledge, right? Those are natural inclinations. But this animalistic thing that people keep trying to say that men and women have, where men are supposed to naturally be providers, they say it's animalistic. They say it has something to do with instinct. But well, let's talk about animals, okay? Let's talk about animals. You have animals like the lioness. The lioness goes get the bacon, right? The lioness is the one that goes get the food, correct? Black widows. Black widows kill their partner after they're impregnated, correct? So you have feminine animals who kill it. Like they the boss. So why is it so difficult for people to, put a human female in that position of power? Like, why is it so difficult to fathom? You know? Um, Visions of Asia. I see how you like to be messy. It's always the messy ones. Listen, I was never passed away. Okay. It was a rumor somebody spread. And if you've been on my page, you know that. Or if you've watched my YouTube channel, you know that. So if you just came here to troll and shit, I don't know what that's about. But anybody who's been following my Facebook page, you know that it's a rumor. And the next person that tries to bring that crap up in my live stream, I'm just going to block them and just, go back to the topic. Okay. So anyway, a lot of those modern women look at relationships like an 80-20 rule relationship, mainly one-sided, and doesn't look at it as a tram kind of thing. Well, I hear a lot of women say that when they do a 50-50 relationship or partnership with a man, they end up doing more than they bargain for. And I tell people all of the time when they talk about their relationships and how, like a man was talking about how he goes to work and then he comes home and he does all of the cooking and he does all of the maintenance in the house. And he said, what do you think about that? And I said, well, if I were you and I was doing all of that and I felt overwhelmed, I would just go to my partner and say, I feel like you should take some of these responsibilities. I feel like you should do more, if they weren't in fact doing enough. I'm not saying that it's up to the outside world to determine what roles should belong to who or how much people should take. Like let's say for instance, it's 80-20 in a relationship, right? Say for instance, it's definitely 80-20. The man is doing 80, the lady is doing 20. As long as this man does not feel overwhelmed with his 80, then it's a fair situation. No one needs to be feeling overwhelmed. Personally, I feel like a couple should be creating a environment that's peaceful. As long as both people are contributing to creating a healthy and peaceful environment, it's a healthy relationship. It's a good situation. Whether it's 50-50, whether it's 80-20, it doesn't matter as long as that couple feels balanced. Because it's not up to me to say to a couple, oh, your shit's off balance. If it works, if it feel right, go for it. But one thing I can't support is the female connoisseurs telling all of these single ass women that they only need to go after affluent men, because affluent men are a small part of the population. The working class man, it's more working class man than it is these multimillionaires walking around here. Okay, we're talking about the entire United States. See, I'm in California, multimillionaires everywhere, because that's where most of the multimillionaires live in the United States. So, of course, I'm going to run into all of them because that's my environment. But when we're talking about the rest of the damn United States, and people just regular people, every average day women are listening to these female connoisseurs telling them date up, date men who are wealthy, date men who can fly you out, date men who can spoil you rotten and take you this place and that place. But they don't tell these women to spoil themselves. See, I'm not going to come to a man asking him to give me something that I can't give myself. If I can't fly my own ass to Dubai, I'm not going to expect him to do it. If I can't go out there and get my toes and my fingers done on my own, I'm not going to ask him to do it. If I can't go out there and buy the lace front I want, I'm not going to ask him to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to come to a man requiring something from him that I'm not even giving myself. And that's the issue with me. To me, women should invest in themselves instead of the whims of men all of the time. Because once you start caring so much about men, trying to get them to bend at your will, trying to get them to buy you all of this stuff, trying to get them to do whatever you want them to do, now everything about him affects every decision that you make as a woman. And that's too much. That's like, to me, that's the worst thing a woman can do. I think it's up to the couple, right? Right, Mia, right. If they agree of the traditional marriage is okay. If the wife works inside the home, that's okay. Those who choose to work outside the home is okay as well. Whatever works for a couple where nobody feels overwhelmed and pressured. Like I said earlier, a lot of these women who were married, they saw their husbands struggling with being providers, struggling with taking care of their children because they were so distant from their children. Like that dude that was on Ayala Van Zandt. Remember that guy that had that viral video where he was talking about his wife don't have to do nothing because he pay for everything. He do all of this stuff. And then he went on to Ayala Van Zandt and his kids was talking about how much of an asshole he was and how he was never around and all of this stuff. And he had this like tumultuous relationship with his kids. Do y'all remember that? But he was ranting and raving. He became viral on the internet because he was saying how men should provide for women, and that he's always provide for his wife and she never had to work. What you don't understand is that when men are out here and they're doing all of this on their own, they're never at home. Business ownership, entrepreneurs, being a multimillionaire, it's business, and it's 24/7 business. Everybody that makes a lot of money, whether they're a doctor, attorney, social media influencer, it doesn't matter who they are, what they do for a living. If they're making over $1 million, trust me, they barely have any free time to do too much of anything. Just because you have money, it doesn't mean that you suddenly just have all of this random free time to go traveling all of the time. You work hard for that. Being a millionaire is not easy. Having six figures, that's easy because it's not, it's not a lot of money. But maintaining it is what becomes the difficult part. And people think they can make $1 million and then don't have to work for the rest of their life. No, you got to figure out a way to multiply that. You got to keep working. It's still a job. And then the lifestyle that comes with it is a whole nother responsibility. So a lot of these relationships and marriages are strained because men are the sole providers, because they don't see their children, they're never around their wives. Imagine how many wives, there's so many wives out there complaining about being single mothers. They feel like they're single mothers and they're married. They're married. And I said this before and I'll say this again. I have a Facebook group, right? Black single moms, we give you life. Half of those women in there, 40% of them women in there are divorced. A lot of people think single mothers, they were promiscuous or they just have a whole bunch of baby daddies or they never did things the right way because they feel like, married men, if a man marries you, he's definitely just going to do things right. No, these men, these men marry you and still abandon you with children. That's another thing. That's another problem. I keep telling ladies, make sure that you have your own money, because in the event that you and this man ain't together no more, then what you going to do? Then what you going to do? You have to make sure you have enough money to take care of yourself and your children if a divorce even happens. They love that lion pride analogy, but doesn't like the male lion have multiple lioness in the pride too. Listen, listen, let me tell you why I brought up the lioness. Shit. Because when you go out there, right, and you bring home the bacon as a woman, right, people think that that's masculine. So I use the lioness analogy because people like to compare us to animals. They're always saying, well, it's animal instinct. It's like animals, men do blah, blah, blah. The male species does X, Y, and Z. And it's like, okay, what about all of the animals when the female does everything? And why do you keep comparing us to fucking animals? That's what I say to people when people bring to me the whole animal instinct fucking quotes, fucking narrative. What you say? There is no 50-50 relationship in marriage. One might give 60, the other 40. Things happen in a marriage. You give more. Sometimes you receive more. It depends, right? It's back and forth. I feel like this. If you are getting into a relationship with a man, right? And you're only in the relationship for the money, what's gonna happen when the money dry out? Because it never stays. Money flows. It's not something you just sit there and hoard. It flows. So you have to create it. You have to invest it to make more money, get you some credit, use your credit to pay for everything, and just pay your credit card bill. Okay? I used to be big on not getting any credit until I understood the pointing system, until I understood how much freedom comes with the high credit score. You could spend a shit ton of money on your credit card, right? And buy, I don't know, a boat. I'm just using a boat as an example. Let's say you buy a boat with your credit card. The fact that you keep paying your credit card bill monthly keeps your score high. With your score being high, you have so much freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do. Okay? But you still have to pay your credit card bill, so you still have to work. You can't stop working just because you have your boat now and you can go travel around Soncerae and shit like that sometimes. You still have to work. And so what I want people to understand as far as money goes, and this is just my opinion. I can only give my opinion and suggestion to people about working together in harmony, because my biggest thing is unity. I think masculine and feminine energy were created so they can work together. Women like to teach, these femininity connoisseurs, they like to teach women that we're made for men. Like our entire existence is made for man. And then they try to use religion and the Bible to prove that point. And I try to explain to people, even the Proverbs 31 woman had some sense. She had her own bread. There are wealthy, successful women in the Bible. Okay? It's about a partnership. It's about complementing each other. Women weren't just made for men. All right? That's not our sole purpose to just jump up and down anytime we see a man. No, that's not, no. Just for us to be valuable to a man requires us to take care of ourselves. And we can just go back to the Proverbs 31 woman. Just go look at the Proverbs 31 woman. If you want to use the Bible. Because a lot of people use that Bible. The cost of living nowadays, it takes two incomes. That's true everywhere, all over the country. Two incomes. I've actually sit and listened to one of those kind of women teaching women this kind of stuff. Actually blew my mind that they're really corrupting. They are corrupting it. But when I say that, when I try to explain it, it's like talking to a brick wall because they don't want to believe what I'm saying. I'm like, what you're saying, either you are half-witted, right? And you're not thinking this through, or you thought about it, you're just selfish and manipulative. That's the only way you would feel comfortable with any of the hypergamy narratives or any of the femininity narratives as a woman. Right now, when I say this, when I tell women this, they always be like, "You trying to put us down?" Because I call them names. I call hypergamy chicks hypergamy hussies. They hate that. You know what I'm saying? They be like, "Why do you call these women hypergamy hussies?" It's because I don't know their names personally. I don't know their names individually. So just to group them in as a collective, I just call them hypergamy hussies. Right? They hate it. They're like, You're putting us down. You're blah blah blah." I'm like, so you want me to feel comfortable with you manipulating men for money, men you don't even like? Like, it's girls out here saying, "Oh, I want all of these guys. I want this guy to spend $200 on me on a first date." You expecting a man you just met, don't know nothing about you, don't know your last name, middle name, ain't met your family, don't know nothing about you, to just spend $200 on you, just to give you $200 worth of cash, and spend $200 on a date. And then they won't take these men serious if he don't spend that money. It's women out there actually thinking that shit is what's up. And it's like, oh, so you must want to date one of these rappers out here who juggling women. Because I can bet that if you can get that type of man to give you, no, if you can get that type of money out of a man that quickly, it's hush money. So he can sleep with you faster or do whatever he wants to do with another woman faster. And women don't believe that. They think I'm just saying this just to be mean. I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. You don't understand how wealthy men operate. They still have this Disney princess thought in their mind that if a man is tossing them money, he must care about them. No, he just spends a lot of money and he has access to a shit ton of women and has even more access to even more women because there's so many women teaching other women how to want hypergamy. So men getting away, a lot of wealthy men getting away with a whole bunch of stuff. Why do people give you such a hard time? You speak with so much sense. Child, listen, I don't know. But I think it's, you know how society is where one person could say the sky is blue and everybody start clapping. Like, oh my God, yes, I agree with you, sis. The sky is blue. And then another person could say, the sky's blue. And people hate that person. And just be like, this sky ain't no fucking blue. You lying. Then why you lying? The sky ain't fucking blue. Who told you that? Nobody. This bitch is scamming. She's scamming. Shit like that. Sometimes certain people are chosen by a certain group of people to be hated. You got people who love Cardi B. You got people who hate Cardi B. You got people who love Nicki Minaj. You got people who hate Nicki Minaj. You got people who love Beyonce. You got people who hate Beyonce. You see where I'm going with this? Everybody has people who love them and people who hate them. It's inevitable. It seems like a lot of people give me a hard time if you're paying attention to the people who try to give me a hard time. But it's so many people out there who love how authentic I am. I'm myself. Flaws and all that shit. You know? All of it. Do you have to pay all that back on your card too with interest? Yes. If you buy a boat on your credit card, right, you have to pay it back with interest. You have to pay it back at a certain amount of time. Like, say, for instance, it might be 2 years. You got 2 years to pay it off. That's why you have to keep working. That's why, honestly, if you're going to use your credit for necessities. Like, you know how you go to Walmart and buy a shit ton of stuff with cash? You use your debit card. I would use my debit card less. Yeah. If you want financial advice, follow me on Instagram and shit. Cause I'll put you up on some game. I try to put everybody up on stocks, investing, and what they should do. But here's the thing: if you want to improve your credit score, like say for instance, your credit score is under 600, let's get it to fair. Okay, just to get it to fair. Let's say you wanted to get it to 650. Download the Self app. Because what the Self app is going to do is going to ask you for a deposit, right? It's going to keep taking little pieces of money, right? And give you a credit card. Your credit card limit might start off at $25. It'll schedule it for you to take it out, and it'll tell you when you're using your card too much, when you're not using it enough, when you should pay it. I feel like people should pay it every 15 days. You should pay your credit card bill, the minimum of your credit card bill every 15 days. So the minimum may be $25 or $30 or something. Pay your credit card bill twice every 15 days, $30 every 15 days, and your credit score is just going to go up. You don't have to pay all of it back in order for your score to go up. You just have to consistently be paying it. You can't just not pay it. You know what I mean? Or try to pay all of it back at once. That's not going to help your score. What helps your score, trust me, pay it every 15 days. And you can pay the minimum every 15 days. Okay? And charge your necessities like gas, okay, groceries, stuff like that. Something that's an emergency. Maybe you need to take a flight because one of your relatives is ill, or maybe you need to, something like that for an emergency, right? Don't be ridiculous with it, like going out. Well, I'm going to charge this handbag I want. Nah. Or I want this new pair of shoes. I'm gonna charge this. Don't charge it if you can't pay for the shoes. Like, don't buy something. Like, don't get ridiculous. Like, if you can't afford a boat, don't charge a goddamn boat. Like, if you can't afford a boat ever, don't charge it. The only reason why you charging a boat is because you know you're gonna have boat money eventually. Like, you can pay something monthly. You know eventually you're gonna be able to pay this boat back. You don't just go buy a boat, you know what I mean? But I feel like you should use your credit for, like your trip to Walmart where you want to get your personal stuff, like your personal hygiene stuff, or you want to get your groceries, or you need something for the bathroom, or some shit like that. You need some new pillows and sheets. That's what you use your credit card for, and pay it right back. Pay it twice a month, and it will improve your credit expeditiously. It will happen so fast. You'll be like, oh my god, my credit already like almost 700. It's quick. It takes a serpent. It takes a certain type of woman to be with a business owner with money. My husband is hardly home. You have to be secure, and you have to have your own life. Exactly. I keep the books. I know where the money is. Now here's my thing with this. How is it beneficial to love someone you never see? Like, I can make my own money and be my own goddamn accountant and not even have to worry about him. If I'm in a relationship or a marriage where I gotta keep myself busy, what's the point of me being in this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, what the fuck? There's no point to me. I want to be in a relationship with somebody I actually spend time with. And I'm not saying that women who choose otherwise, if it works for you, like if you're okay with barely seeing your husband, like I could not be married and only see my husband 4 times, like on the weekend. Like I only see him 4 times a month. What kind of marriage is that? It's not a marriage to me. It's like, why are you? I don't understand. Now, you don't want me to start talking about marriage, because to me, marriage is business. To me, marriage is business, because if it was just about love, you wouldn't need a license to get it. You need a marriage license. What do you need a license for usually inside of this country? To start a business. You need a license to drive a specific type of vehicle. Anything that has to do with business or money, you have to get a license to do it. To me, that's all marriage is. America is a business. That's why business owners and, the PPP loans and all that shit during the pandemic, most of the business owners had money. Like some of the businesses were shutting down, but then they was giving business owners all of this money because America is a business. Marriage is a business. It's not, and I honestly feel like marriage licenses should expire and you should be able to renew them because you change with time. Like your energy changes. You become a different person with time. The person I was 2 years ago is not the person I am today. Shit, the person I was 3 months ago, I'm not that person today because I learned so much in the 3 months. We change, we go through experiences. So, if my energy is one way and the person that I'm with, their energy is matching mine at that moment, even though they may promise me forever, 5 years could go by, their energy is so different. I don't even like their ass. That's why I think marriage licenses should expire. It takes a certain mindset to be a business owner. Oh, yeah, I read it already. They're stubborn and is losing battle talking sense to women. Yeah, they don't want to hear, oh, go out there and get your own money because they feel like hard work is too hard. It's not that it's hard. Hard work is, let me explain something. Hard work is a mind thing. And once you start doing it, it almost becomes an addiction. You know what I mean? Like, you might not like it at first, but then after a while, after you've been doing it, it feel weird when you're not doing it. It's like working out. When you start working out so much to where you finally start losing weight or you toned or something like that, and you taking it serious, when you don't work out, you feel strange. You feel like you're walking around in the street butt naked. That's how it feels. It's not hard once you get started. And a lot of women have so many goals, so many things we want to accomplish. Women, like, I didn't realize that women were like this until I had my son. When I had my son 3 now. When I had my son, more women started, like talking to me on the internet. Because before I was giving men relationship advice. So men were talking to me all the time. That's why I know men so well. When I give relationship advice men to men, I know men so well, and I'm a woman. I can teach them how to get with a decent female. And it always boggled my mind when females would be like, "Oh, she gives bad advice," and it would always be the hypergamy, femininity connoisseur chicks. Soncerae gives bad advice. No, I just give advice where I'm considering a man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm considering a man's feelings and thoughts. And a lot of these women who are giving relationship advice, they don't consider a man's thoughts. They just tell women what women want to hear. And it's not necessarily making them more attractive to men. It's just it's just making them more selfish and manipulative. And so anyway, when I'm trying to talk to them, they don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear nothing that goes against what they been taught already. Um, hey, Malika, I will get a card. I'm about you. Okay, that's why a lot of men steer away from marriage as a business and definitely not benefiting from it. I disagree with you, or else you would make that Santa is from what? Stephen, what? I disagree with, or else you wouldn't make that Santa in front of God's eyes. I don't know what you're talking about. Miss Marion, you said, did I say self, sis? Did I say self, sis? What you talking about? Elaborate, ma'am. Elaborate. So, what are you asking me? What are you like? What do you like? Elaborate on what are you trying to say so I can answer your question, sweetheart? Because I don't know what the what the fuck you said. But yeah, the business of marriage. Oh yeah, self. Okay, yeah, self is the name of the card. Self is the name of the card. You get that card, and it'll give you some credit. And the little bit of money that you're paying on it makes your credit get higher so quickly. How do I send money other than Cash App? Um, to me, I guess PayPal. You can send PayPal if you want. And your money, let me just tell you where everybody money, if people donate money to me, okay? Because I want to be clear, because I want people to understand what I do with my money. I don't want people to feel like, So when I get large sums of money, like when we get money for my mother, because my mother has cancer and we're taking donations for her cancer treatment, and we release the money weekly, okay? I don't do daily. We release it weekly. When I get the money, I make sure that I donate it to a specific organization. And we have this organization that we're connected to called Stand Up for Cancer. So we keep the piece of the money to help with my mother's cancer treatment, medical and living expenses. And then we take the other set of the money and give it to charity. All right. That's what I do. I don't keep hope. Like, I like for money to flow. So when people donate to me, even if they're not donating to my mother for cancer, and they might buy a Yaora t-shirt, or they might buy my Revenue Digital graphic design company, they might buy some services, or they might just give me money because they like my content and stuff like that, right? I still take that money and give it away. Like, even when I go to Walmart, I might buy something from Walmart, and they ask you, do you want to donate? Like, I donate to the Children's Network all the time. Because when I go in Walmart, and I don't go in Walmart often, I'm like a Target person. When I go in Walmart and I go to clock out, not clock out, but sign, when you go and check out your items, they always ask you, do you want to donate to the Children's Network? And I donate every time, because I feel like that's the only way I can get donations, if I donate to everybody else. And I feel that's the way I got $10,000 in crowdfunding to move to California to begin with, because I was so generous before that. And that was just God's way of giving me back what I had given all of those years. Because I used to give to the homeless all the time. I used to do an event every Sunday in Atlanta for the homeless. And I would have people come and donate toiletries and canned goods and shit like that. So that energy, all of the people that I met who I will volunteer with, who will come and do all of these events and stuff with me, they were donating to me. And that's how I ended up doing the crowdfunding and getting $10,000. When people ask me, how did you get $10,000 over the internet? Just people just giving you money? Yeah, because I gave so much at one point, and then I provide some type of service for people. So anyway, if you do donate, that's where your money's going. I just wanted everybody to know that. You give such great financial advice on your community posts. Thank you. Thank you. I be trying to tell people how to get to a level of financial stability, because I want to see everybody get to a good place financially where you can be free to do whatever it is that you want to do, you know? And I may not be everybody's favorite person in the world, but what I do try to do is give you the best advice I can so you can have a better life, especially when it comes to finances. I do that. What you mean you don't care what I do with it? You don't care what I do with your money? You don't care? I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I do something good with it. I just want you to do, because some people care. They're like, I wonder what she's doing with it. Is she buying herself a yacht? No, I'm not. I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. I usually put it for something good, because I'm a minimalist. I don't live how people think I live. Like, I'm very simple. I like to pay for experiences. I'm not materialistic at all. So if you was to give me a donation, I would go take my son to see the horse races, because we they do I'm in California, so they do horse racing here. And the tickets are like $20. So if you were to cash at me or send me money through PayPal, did I even tell you what my PayPal is? We love Soncerae@gmail.com. So if you was to send money for that, I would just take my son to the race cars with it, or go buy some stock. That's another thing. Oh, another thing. If you buying stock, please find another app than Robinhood. And who in here using Robinhood for stock? Oh, Robinhood is annoying. Oh, Robinhood. Use another thing for stocks, and use Coinbase for crypto. And you can use, matter of fact, you can use the public app. You use the public app, you can buy stock on there. That's a better place to buy stock. And public is kind of like a Facebook for investors. Basically, you go there and you just talk. Like, you can post something on there and everybody sees, like a little timeline. It's like, it reminds me of Facebook, but for investors. It's called Public. You download that and buy your stock there. Because a lot of people can't afford putting a shit ton of money in stock. So you can put like a couple of dollars, like $2, $5, $10. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. You just start off small. And I hear a lot of investors like to tell people to start off with a shit ton of money. I don't like to tell people that, because I feel like some people who aren't used to investing, they need to start off small first. You have to take baby steps first. You can't be like, I'm about to invest my last $500 on blah blah blah. Nah, because you don't know the market like that. You got to pay attention to the market. You got to learn. Like, you got to learn how to read a candlestick chart. You got to learn how to. I mean, you just got to learn the market. You can't just do nothing like that. Um, You don't go like Robinhood. I would not suggest anybody who wants to buy stock to go on Robinhood. Please don't do it. Just don't just use Public or Coinbase if you are a beginner. Okay, then once you know what you're doing, then you can go to these other apps to buy, like bigger stock. You can spend more money, because a lot of the bigger apps you have to put $500 down first before you can even buy it. So these smaller apps, and it's a lot of investment apps too. It's a shit ton of them. I even try to use Voyager. Voyager, when I first signed up for Voyager, I was on a waiting list. I was like, what? I can't just get on. They had me on a waiting list at first. It was like that. What's that Raya app? Y'all heard about the Raya app? That dating app for like celebrities. I cannot get on this Raya app for my life, and I don't know what. Like, you have to know somebody. You know how Clubhouse is. You have to know somebody in order to be on the Ray app. And I don't keep up with anybody's phone number like that. Like, I'm not the type of person that likes to be chit chatting and shit on the phone all the time. I'm not a phone boner. I don't really like the phone. You know, Dogecoin getting on my nerves. Dogecoin, and it's not even called Dogecoin. I call it Dogecoin. Right? My daughter hates that I call that shit Dogecoin, because that's not how you say it at all. But I say it like that. It's not Dogecoin. It's like Dogecoin or some shit like that. She say it right. I never say it right. I say Dogecoin. Oh, okay. Dogecoin. My mother just had her second surgery on Tuesday. She's supposed to be doing an update on the GoFundMe. She just had her second surgery to get. I don't know if you know about this, but when you have chemotherapy, you have to have like this thing stuck in your breast first before they give you radiation and chemotherapy. And so she went and did that. And she's recovering for that. So that was like Tuesday. Today, Thursday, yeah. So she probably gonna go back to doing her regular stuff tomorrow. I'm trying to. The reason why I keep taking donations for her, because I'm trying to put her in a position to where she doesn't have to work at all while she has cancer. See, it's one thing for her to work every day, because she works every day to pay for her own standard of living, right? But I asked for donations, and people was like, why are you asking for donations when you have money? Because my lifestyle and my kids, me, myself, and my kids is one lifestyle. My mother is one lifestyle. And my sister is a whole nother lifestyle. And people are like, how come you and your sister are asking for donations? It's because between me and my sister income, we still can't take over my mother's life. She has a whole nother life that has nothing to do with my household or my sister's household. So in order for us to be able to take care of her household as well without her working, we had to ask for donations, because chemotherapy, radiation stop her from working. And we hoping that it don't, but the side effects of chemotherapy in itself, it just is bad. It's like, just when I they were like, she could lose her teeth. They were like, she could bleed when she urines. I mean, just go Google the side effects of chemotherapy. And I don't know if they will get into detail the way they got to detail with us, but I was like, oh my God. It was like, she's going to be so tired. She's going to have nausea, vomiting. I was like, okay. Like, I just don't want her to be miserable. So I was like, we free. Not free. We legal here. Right. So I was thinking, what could I give her to help her through chemotherapy? So we've been trying to find edibles for her, because one of my other aunts who has breast cancer right now, she had it before my mom. She was using edibles for the pain. Um, Isn't there a better way to chemotherapy? I don't think so. I don't know. She has breast cancer. She has 2B breast cancer. I think she has stage 2B breast cancer, triple negative, and it's hard. She different. Ever since she different. Like before she went to the doctors and found out she had breast cancer, she was one way. Then she found out she had breast cancer and she was fine, like she was acting normal. And then after the first surgery, when they took the lump out, some of her body improved, but then remember it's still cancer there. Like they took some of her lymph nodes and everything. It's still cancer there. That's why they have to do chemotherapy to get the rest out because it was bigger than what they thought, and they only took out a smaller piece, and they were supposed to take out more. So instead of them going back in, take it out more, they're going to try to pump up the chemotherapy to kill the rest. And that's the part that has me like, why didn't the doctor take out all of it the first time? So that had me pissed for a second. But, you know, yeah. I'm going through that. She did get a second opinion from a she did not like her surgeon. She didn't like the guy that gave her the lumpectomy because he didn't have any good bedside manner. Like some surgeons, I don't know if y'all know this if you've been around a surgeon, but surgeons genuinely have like this God complex and they act real arrogant and confident. And my mother didn't like him. She didn't want him touching her body again. She was like, I don't like him. I don't want to deal with him. And then she had to go through a second surgery with him. And she's like, I'm glad I ain't never got to see him again. Hopefully she ain't got to see him again. She don't like him. But she has more than one oncologist. We got a second opinion. So I wish there was another way other than chemotherapy, but it's not. Um, yeah, port. Thank you, Mia. Thank you, Mia. She went and got a port Tuesday. And it's weird because think about it like this. This is why it's painful. The lump was in the right breast. So her breast is still hurting from that. Okay. And that was like a couple of weeks ago. That was like 3 weeks ago. They put the port on the left. The lump was on the right. They put the port on the left. So now both of her arms, like she can't lift both of her arms anymore. Like she don't play with my son no more. She tired as hell. She can't lift nothing. And my mother drive Uber. Like she like to do deliveries. My mother loved doing deliveries. Right. So she, in order to make money for her own household, she was doing Uber. So instead of us not making any money while she's doing nothing, me and my daughter just decided to go do Uber for her. So when my daughter's not working and when I'm not working, me and my daughter will go and do Uber deliveries for my mom, just so she can have an additional source of income. Like we did it this morning. I had stuff to do, but I put my stuff to the side, like for my mom. And that's why sometimes y'all don't see me post as much. Because I know people be like, how come she don't post like, how she used to? Like my social media stuff has changed drastically because since I found out my mother has breast cancer, it's kind of hard to post because I'm taking care of her. I'm taking care of my son, or I'm doing something that has something to do with her. And so this morning, I knew I had all this graphic design work I had to do. I knew I had, so many things. I just put it to the side and I was like, you know what? Let's go make your grandmother an additional $100 just cause. And that's what we went to go do. And then I came back and started working. And then I was sitting at my desk and I was like, yo, I ain't done a live stream in four fucking ever. I was like, let me go do a live stream. And so that's what made me just be like, I'm going to get on Facebook and YouTube and do a live stream. You know, my mother is 64. No, 60. 60. Where I get four? 61. Yes. 61. Because see, I'm 40. I turned 40 June. My mother had me when she was 20. So my mother is 61 in October. So the problem with her insurance, and a lot of people ask me about her insurance. Her insurance, because she's like, you got to be over 65 to get certain kind of insurance. And now that she has cancer, it's hard to get insurance. Insurance get harder after that. Like before that, She probably could have got a better insurance. Probably could have went to Kaiser Permanente, and they would just welcomed her with open arms. But now that she has cancer and she realized she was um needing to pay the rest of her stuff, like, because see, her health care is paying 80%, but that 20% that's left over that we have to pay for is still a lot of money. Like, it's not, like, I don't know if y'all know this, but healthcare is expensive as shit. Like, it's like, that's why so many people out here that's sick, they have like diabetes and high blood pressure. That's why people don't eat right and stuff, because a lot of times people are doing stuff that's the cheapest. Like, they'll eat what's the cheapest when they supposed to be eating stuff that's healthier for them. They feel like it's more expensive. They aren't able to afford, the good stuff that we're supposed to be eating. So they're eating all of this cheap stuff because they don't have any money, and then they have to turn around and go to the doctors. And the doctor is ridiculously high. And that's why people die from stuff they could easily live through if they had the money to pay for the doctor. And honestly, nurses and doctors treat you less than already if you black. Number one. Number two, they treat you like you a secondhand fucking citizen if you come in there with some state provided health care. They treat you different. So depending upon what kind of health care you got, depends upon how much, how well you will be taken care of. And so when I get on the internet and I ask people for donations, I just want my mother to be comfortable. It's not that I am trying to scam you out of some money. It's, I don't want her to go through this in the cheapest way. You know what I mean? And then don't get me twisted. We be out here in the local areas, like going from restaurant to local people asking for donations too. Because I don't know the course of this. I don't understand cancer. There's no specific structured time for anything. Everything is off of a whim. I said to my mother, "So when did you start chemotherapy?" I said this to her earlier today. I said, "So when do you actually start? When's the first time you start?" She was like, "I don't know." I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "Well, I have to go to the doctors next week because I have this and I have that, and every week it's a doctor's appointment. And if she sees a specialist, it's a copay. And the copay is like $65 or $75. And it's just like, sometimes she has been to the doctors 3 different times in a week. So can you imagine paying a copay each time you go to the doctors each week, and you might go to the doctors 3 or 4 times a week? Think about that. And then you got your bills that you got to pay, and you're not working because you have cancer. Think about that. Like, let that sit with you. A lot of people don't realize that it's expensive to be sick. That's why taking care of yourself is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. Exercising, making sure you eat right, making sure you stay stressed less, meditate. You see these goofy videos on YouTube where they playing this Buddhist music where they putting this wand around a singing bowl, and you're like, this is whack. Listen to that, because it reduces your stress. You see videos where they're talking about frequency. You listen to this frequency, it'll get rid of um, back pain or headaches or constipation or whatever. And you look at it like, this couldn't possibly work. It works. But people feel like these things don't. Like, people, it's this guy named Michael Seeley. He does sleep hypnosis. He will cure you of all types of things: OCD, anxiety, depression, headaches, back pain, feet pain. He can reduce you having diarrhea. Shit like that. People don't want to listen to it because they think it's not real. It works. Take care of yourself. Whatever you do, take care of yourself. Take care of your vessel. Be very selective about who you deal with, about who you interact with, what you consume every day on the internet, what you listening to. Rap music has a low frequency. I was just talking about frequency in the meditation videos. Rap music has a low frequency. The more rap music that you listen to, guess what? Guess what it's doing to you? Guess what it's doing to you? Go look up a frequency, sound frequency, and how it affects your body as a human being. People people don't realize this stuff. You know? I didn't delete your message, Sweet Dick Willie Big Johnson. I didn't Sweet Dick Willie Big Johnson. I did not delete your message. I don't know what you're talking about. It probably YouTube probably did it. Yeah, my birthday is June 1st. Yep, my birthday is June 1st. But I gotta go. I've been on here too long. I gotta go take my son outside before it get dark. He likes to go outside right before it get dark, and it's so hot. Oh my god, I had an earthquake. We had an earthquake today. I was. We have a lot of earthquakes here in California. Y'all know, right? But most of the earthquakes we don't feel. We just don't feel them. So today I'm sitting in my desk, and sadly I feel dizzy, cause I'm like, ugh, I'm dizzy, and I'm thinking maybe it has something to do with my Red Bulls, cause I drink a lot of caffeine, and I've been trying to reduce the caffeine. Also reduce my weight. I lost 3 pounds, so I'm happy about that. I lost 3 pounds, and I was like, I'm dizzy. I was like, all right, I wiped my face off, and I got kept working. And I was like, why am I so dizzy? I need to lay flat or something. Like I think I need to lay down and go to sleep. My mother was like, why is the bed moving? I was like, the bed moving. She was like, do you feel that? I was like, I thought I was just dizzy. We was in the middle of an earthquake, but it wasn't. You know how when you see in the movies where the earthquake and is moving really fast, the shaking is like really swift and is moving back and forth very, very fast. That's not how it was. It was like a slow move. It was a little slower and it lasted longer. Usually when I feel an earthquake, it's going fast and it's kind of like it lasts for maybe a minute two or then it was over. This earthquake today, it was slower and it lasted longer. It was shaking the whole foundation of the house. It was just like moving at a slower pace though. You know what I mean? And it just lasted longer. It lasted for like 20 minutes. And even my son was holding on to the bed, like, what is that? Like, I feel what? I don't understand. He don't know. That was his first earthquake. So he didn't know. That's the first time he felt one. But it was weird. Expecting it. Which I guess you can't expect an earthquake. They just happen. You know what I mean? But anyway, I gotta go. I gotta go take him out. It's been real though. If you want to give me some donations for my mom, her GoFundMe link is on my Facebook page and it's on my community tab on my YouTube channel. I appreciate y'all looking out for my mother. I seriously do, like, with my heart, like, you don't understand, because this is a very overwhelming experience for me. I know I don't act like it because I'm an entertainer. I'm supposed to entertain. I'm a life coach. I'm supposed to be inspiring everybody else to do better with their lives. But this is a very overwhelming experience for me. I struggle with it sometimes because it's changed, the whole dynamic of my life. And to see my mother not even be able to play with my son when my son, he loves my grandmother. I mean, his grandmother, like, they are like so close. And to see that she can't play with him, it's just kind of sad to me. You know what I mean? And I just appreciate anybody who could have compassion for my mother and just wants to help my mom. You know, um, if you have some negative feelings about me, that's okay, but just don't take it out on my mom. You know what I mean? And just have a little bit of kindness when it comes to her. And if you've experienced this, like if you know anything about cancer and you want to talk to me about it, please feel free. You can come into my messenger on Facebook. I do take messages there. You can email me, contact@soncerae.com. Talk to me about it because there's a lot about it I don't know, you know. So just share with me what you can, and you can just help me get through it. If you survived it, just help me get through it, because I don't know what to look forward to. I don't know what to do about this. This is the first time in my life where I don't know, because I'm the type of person, I plan ahead. You know, I'm always strategic, and with this, I can't be. Yes, because I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. So whatever suggestion you can give, I would love that. And I appreciate anybody that's donating to my mom. If you want to cash at me, you can. It's Soncerae XO. It's up there. My PayPal is welovesonserae@gmail.com. If you don't want to donate, if you don't have any money, you can still send me positive vibes. Send me some positive prayers. Send me something to help me get through it. I appreciate that. Somebody asked me, was I going to do giveaways? I have to get my audience to a certain level first before I can be able to do giveaways. My audience is not how it used to be. When I used to vlog my life all the time, I had a bigger audience. Now that I don't vlog my life anymore because I wanted my privacy, I have to create an audience over again. So once my audience gets to a different level, a better level than it is, like I just said, I just hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. And that's interesting. Like, that's weird, but I mean, that's like, I just started investing in Instagram. That's why. But, as I rebuild my community back up, just know I love you guys that come and watch my videos still, regardless of what you heard. Just that loyalty. I appreciate that so much. And I love you guys for that. Okay. I got to go though. Have vision and stay focused. Namaste.